I tell all my AIs to get rid of dashes when they write. No dashes.
M dash.
Oh, yeah, the M dash.
No
Yeah.
dashes.
That's
I
nobody
do
knows
too. They
anymore.
ignore me.
I'm invisible.
They do it anyway.
Yeah.
Like a freaking teenager.
Yeah.
Then you
I
throw
think,
it into
some of
Grammarly.
our testers, I was talking about report editing. I feel like some of our testers sometimes troll me and they put like AI M dashes in the, I think Bronwyn's seen it and it's like, what are you guys doing? Like, yeah, at least we hope that's what they're doing. They're trolling the owner of the company. So,
Hey, at
Always a good move.
least you're in their thoughts and minds.
yeah, that's where I want to be, in the back. So, and we are live.
I sent it. We're good up.
Yeah, we're all chattering, and then
Yeah.
as soon as it goes live, everyone clams up like.
Ah,
I don't want to take hot takes about Palo Alto.
I was just waiting for the intro
Oh,
music.
man.
I mean,
Yeah, I know.
I thought we were starting for real, so I was quiet.
nope. I'd like to put it out there. Everyone stop texting me about if I'm in Vegas. All right, it's making me sad.
I honestly,
Hey, Wade.
Hey, it's a 40-minute flight for me, right? I could literally go there for the day and come back. But
why?
Yeah, Hacker
see
Summer
friends.
Camp is going
My
Hacker Summer
attitude-
Camp is going to counteract all those news stories that are out there about like why nobody's visiting Vegas. I don't know if you've seen those where they show the footage of like this of every place being empty and nobody's going anywhere, and then you're going to have this whole rush of like other influencers that are going to want to take the same
Where
thing
did all
and be
these?
like, yeah,
Where did all these middle-aged white dudes in black T-shirts show up from? Like,
yeah, exactly.
I was in Vegas back in April, and I gotta say, it was far from empty. It was not empty at all. But I mean, hey,
Yeah,
it's
I don't know
months
where
ago,
the
for
stories
sure.
are.
it's Russian
No.
propaganda.
It
Definitely.
can still
Something.
be there can still be people there and it still have a drop in revenues.
people there or not, it still sucks either way.
Yeah.
If I never go to Vegas
Like-
again,
I've
I think it's
successfully
small
crossed DEF CON off my bucket list. I can die content as far as that particular issue.
Yeah,
so the Spoon Man asked, okay, so no bullshit. Is DEF CON worth it for the experience? You know what? Let's start the hand. We're going to start with this question. Let's
Yeah.
start there. All right, Megan, let's do it.
All right. Rolling it.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Black Hills Information Security, talking about AI, apparently, because we're just going to get stuck on AI. We're going to probably do some DEF CON stuff, and yeah, it's going to be a show. We're going to talk about hacker news stories and stuff, because that's what we do here. And for the record, yes, apparently I am this red. I've been working out in the sun. I'm out in the Sturgis Rally right now in Sturgis, South Dakota, and I got a little bit too much sun, people. And as you know, if you work in IT, the sun is trying to kill you at all times. And that's what I've been dealing with. We got a really good group of people here today, and like I said, we're just going to get stuck on AI, and it's going to be the AI gear. But before we get stuck in the AI gear, I really want to hit one of the questions that was asked. Where did the question go? First up, yes. First up,
Spooner
yes.
Man.
DEF CON is canceled. If you didn't get the news, we're going to be talking about that a little bit. But Spooner Man had a question: if DEF CON was not canceled, which it totally is, by the way, would it be worth going? I'm going to say, Bronwyn, you said you checked it off your list. I say everybody in IT security should go at least once. It should be we should do we should make it like some kind of pilgrimage to the middle of the desert, where infosec people all descend on Vegas, and then we walk around the building and we throw stones at vendors. Is kind of what I'm thinking as a way that we could possibly do this to get the most out of it. But I'm just going to say, yeah, you absolutely should go at least once in your life. It's just, that's my take. We'll get some more hot DEF CON takes because it's freaking hot, but it's canceled this year. So that sucks for everybody. So Bronwyn, what is your take? You said you got it off your list. Why? You're happy that you went, clearly, but you're also kind of over it.
Well, I mean, spending time with 25 to 30,000 of my nearest and dearest acquaintances, it basically one of the main reasons I wouldn't go is that it is mega crowded, and
Yeah.
going from highly air conditioned inside casino places to outside where it's 106 degrees in the shade and back and forth, it just wreaks havoc
Yeah.
with you physically. And pre-COVID, I went, and when I got home, I face planted with con crud for 2 weeks.
Yeah. That's a
And
big thing.
yeah, so it was a wonderful experience. I went when I was still very, very new, having just switched from web development into cybersecurity. I had a posse. I actually had two posses. That,
Two.
yeah, because
You could set up two posses at the same time in Vegas. Okay, carry on.
well, I mean, because I wanted to have people that I was connecting with, and I did have two separate groups that we were all checking out for each other. Women's groups, Women's Society of Cyber Jutsu, and Cyber Security. And matter of fact, that was why I went.
Yeah.
I won a raffle from the cyber security people, and it was wonderful. But great experience, lots of opportunities to meet and connect with people, lots of opportunities to get overloaded.
Yep.
And so self-care, both mentally and physically, is very important and very challenging. And that's another way where it matters to have at least one other person who can be there to check up on you, aside from all of the other safety issues that come with being in Las Vegas.
Wouldn't know anything. I've
Yeah,
only
I
been roofied twice. All right. What else? By the way, Florida man, Ralph, thanks
What's
for
up,
coming.
guys?
What's your take on DEF CON? Like,
Oh my God.
bro.
Yeah. So I'll do it really fast. So if you've never,
I don't think we're using your main mic. I think we're
Yeah,
using
check-
a mic
check your
someplace
stream.
else.
How about this one?
There
Much
we go.
better.
Much better.
better.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Much better.
Yeah, there we go.
So, all right, my quick take. If you've never gone, totally go. It is a shock and awe kind of experience. There's over 30,000 people there in DEF CON, so it's kind of wild. But if you are going to go, have a plan, right? It's just so much going on that, like, if you don't have a plan, I feel like you kind of feel like it's, like, not that fun, right? Because it's just, you get confused about where to go, how to do this. So definitely having a plan. And the best way to experience DEF CON is honestly to volunteer in some way, shape, or form.
Yes.
Right.
I
Yes.
love that idea.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it show up again and again and again. I disagree with the ratio, but I always say 1 glass of water per alcoholic drink.
That's a lot of water.
It is a lot of water.
2 to 1 is where the pros are. Just saying. No,
Yeah, 2 to 1 is where you would be in like South Dakota where we have humidity. But I usually do 1 to 1 because it slows you down, number 1. Number 2, never accept a drink that has been opened. Number 3, most important, learn what Body Glide anti-chafing stick is.
Oh yeah.
Oh, wait.
Always
I'm
comes back to
sorry. I'm
Body
sorry. Number 4, most importantly, DEF CON it should be a requirement that you wear deodorant at this conference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Should that be a requirement all the time?
All the time. Well,
Wear
especially.
deodorant and shower at least once a day.
At least once a day.
3, 2,
If you do
1,
DEF CON
right?
right,
3
if
hours
you do it
of
right, you'll
sleep.
never have to pay for
2
drinks or
meals.
food either.
Yeah.
It's a different creature nowadays also. I went the last 2 years, which was the final year of them doing the hotels at Caesars, and the first year of them doing the Las Vegas Convention Center, where everything is just packed into one. So you don't have the bar cons anymore. You don't have people wandering around. You don't have to step outside to go ahead and get from village to village. So it's a real different feel and a real different vibe.
Yeah.
And it really controls you a little bit more. Now, if you want to get actually somewhat decent food or even fast food, you have to step outside the convention center to do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're stuck with convention center food, which we all know sort of,
Yeah.
And I'm going to push again. If you go to Vegas, please go to Batista's Hole in the Wall. It's a local Italian restaurant. It's one of my favorite places. Unfortunately, Gordy passed away about 5 years ago. He was the accordion player. But it's an awesome place. If you want to get a feeling of what Vegas was like back in like the early 80s, 70s, you got to go to Batista's Hole in the Wall. So go check them out. All right, so we get on some news stories, unless somebody else has a DEF CON thing that they would like to add in.
Yeah, I mean, I would like
Go
to.
ahead,
I mean,
Alex.
I'm going on like the probably just the stance as to where it's like worth it. I mean, you're going to kind of say no. A lot of the takes are there, like John, you said like everybody should experience it once. I've been seeing where, and also to Bronwyn's points, it's very overwhelming. It started to get overwhelming for me, but you're starting to see people say, well, you kind of have to go once, but it's going to be overwhelming, so you kind of have to go a second time. And when you say like you have to get into volunteering, it's going to take you like a couple of times before you shift from that the taking from DEF CON to giving to DEF CON. So it's going to take you like 3. So when you go, it's like, okay, so I have to invest 3 times for it to really get that rate of return. And it's just, is it worth it for a new person to have to go 2 or 3 times to really get things done? I don't know. I'm kind of landing on the side of no. There's better return on investment with other conferences.
And I'm going to say, if you're going to go to one conference in your life, you should go to DEF CON. However, if you choose to go to 2 conferences in your life, you should make the second one Wild West Hacking Fest in Deadwood.
Edward.
Which actually,
Agreed.
I think we're really close to selling out. I shouldn't have said that because now a bunch of people are going to be like, you sold out. But at any rate, let's get into some stories. Unless somebody else has one more take. We can do one more, but then we got to do some stories.
Go to B-sides, don't go to DEF CON. All right, we go to.
All right, there we go. That's, dude, distinction without a difference. B-sides Las Vegas, right? I actually like the vibe of B-sides quite a bit in Las Vegas, but it's
I'm
more
partial
fun.
to the San Diego one. I don't know why, but
That's
it's
a good
really
one.
nice.
Help out.
Yeah, I feel like there's a bias.
So I want to hit this one because I think this is important. The city of Hamilton. The city of Hamilton was hit by a cyber attack, and I guess the ransomware was like $5 million, and they didn't have any multi-factor authentication that was easy to log in. And the thing that's interesting about this story is insurance ain't gonna pay. We don't get a lot of stories where insurance companies choose not to pay, but oh my gosh, here's one of them. And I think that this is just the beginning of a trend. I think we're going to see more of this. And also, once again, I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but if you don't have multi-factor authentication, BHIS report, it's automatically a high, minimum high, right out of the gate. We used to get lots of pushback from customers. We don't get it at all anymore. Because that is just a direct path to get in. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, I can't remember a lot of stories about this. I mean, of course, you had the Mondelez, is that the name of it? Company in Ukraine that was denied a ransomware payout because they said that the malware was used as part of nation state arsenal because it was stolen from the NSA. So that's a little bit different, but you're starting to kind of see this where we are seeing insurance companies push back. Now it is in Canada, and but it is a beginning, and I think we're going to see more. What do you guys think?
I think this is perfect. It's showing people if you don't do your due diligence, insurance is not going to pay, right? MFA is like John said, is the basics. You should be able to implement it and have everybody do it. If we start seeing stuff like this where insurance isn't paying out because guess what, you're not doing the bare minimum, people are going to start doing the bare minimum and raising that bar overall.
Yeah.
Is this like a car accident and not wearing your seatbelt and then being like, well, we're not going to pay for your injuries?
It's
Okay,
like-
so
it's like the
so that
stick
gets
meme,
into an
you know?
interesting question, Ralph. Like,
Yeah.
kind of related to this. I don't feel bad for them getting hacked if they didn't
Sure.
have multi-factor. Now, I got a question. If somebody gets into a car accident and they get hurt really bad and they weren't wearing their seatbelt, am I an a-hole for not feeling bad for them?
Yeah, I mean, probably not. I don't think. Like, I mean, they kind of were asking for it. I mean, like the
I don't-
seatbelt
but I-
is the number one safety device that you can possibly wear. I know I'm not trying to get off into like a whole safety thing, but I'm just saying. I mean, but I agree with you though. Listen, they should have that in place. My question though is why didn't the insurance company do some due diligence themselves to make sure that they were doing these things, right? They just wrote a policy without asking?
I bet you they
Wasn't-
asked. I bet you they asked, and I bet you the insurance. I bet you they lied on the form.
Yeah, it's in
Yeah,
there
I was
somewhere.
going to say it sounds like something where they checked a box that they shouldn't have been checking on their checkbox form.
Well, I think it also depends on who is checking the box. Because if the security people were involved in interacting with the insurance company, they would have reported accurately. But if it's somebody else who may not know exactly what is being implemented, what is being supported, and come on, with the pen test, how many times do we find the
hold on.
people
How
that know
many?
this stuff?
It doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen. Where, like, I'll just give you an example. Like, we have customers that, like, the BHIS report has a bunch of vulnerabilities, and they're like, well, we need a clean pen test report before we can get our funding, before we can go live, before we can do our merger, before we can do this and this and this and this and this. And they come to us, and there's a lot of times I sit down and I talk with the customer, and I'm like, this is just a report. You can take this report and you can synthesize it however you choose to. And I do think that some of those customers, albeit they're rare, they just are like, okay, we're going to quietly ignore this and say, we're clean, everybody. And I feel like that's part of just ignoring the security team and hoping that we go away.
Yeah,
Well,
so
to rebut that, I also see a lot of reports coming through where when they come to us, they think they know what their infrastructure is. They think they know what their
Oh, yeah.
policies and whatnot are. And when after we're done with them, they go, "Oh, gee, we didn't know any of that stuff." And so, bottom line, yeah, you got to have brass tacks. You have to know your inventory. You have to know what your assets are. You have to know where you have policy failures or compliance failures for your own policies. How many of these companies don't have that internal knowledge about themselves?
Mm-hmm.
Most.
So I mean,
Most.
you're making it analogous to a seatbelt, and and so if that's the baseline standard, why don't companies like Microsoft require MFA of everybody who uses their service? I mean, wouldn't that solve the problem? I mean, and this is a school system. What if it's a small business? Are they using an MSP? I mean, why can you configure if it's a baseline security standard to have MFA? Why are we allowed to configure it without MFA? Because it's probably Microsoft, right? That got breached.
That's a good question because me owning a couple Google business accounts, they've recently been hounding me that any admin account for those Google business requires MFA.
Microsoft did the same thing, right? Like I think they required recently all admin accounts. I get that, but why not all accounts? Like why are you still allowed to do that? I mean, because we still have customers who have issues with MFA and getting phished with transparent proxies, and so it's not, if it's a baseline now, why is it optional?
Yeah, and I think also there's like a distinction between it being like a company and it being like a city, because when you have like the impact to a city, that's still getting paid, and that's often paid by like the city resources or the taxpayers, versus if you had it where it's like, okay, Dave's Discount Dinnerware decides that they're not going to have MFA, insurance doesn't pay, well then Dave's Discount Dinnerware just gets sold to somebody else. The city's still going to have to function, going to pay that money, and it's going to be a loss of services somewhere else. When you sit there and you go, sorry, we could have given you we could have filled in those potholes, we could have redone the interchange, could have expanded this hazardous intersection there, put some lights in place, but we don't have the money because we chose to not enforce MFA, and we had to pay it, and it's just that money's not there. Yeah, so I think there's a distinction. I think even when you kind of make that comparison to somebody like not wearing their seatbelt, I go, yeah, I kind of feel sorry for like the person at like the basic level that got injured because they didn't have their seatbelt. If it was like a company policy saying, hey, we're not putting seatbelts in our delivery vans, and they get into an accident, and you would sit there and you go, okay, well, the owner of the company says, yeah, I don't believe in seatbelts, nobody's wearing them. The owner of the company gets in an accident, gets hurt. It's like, well, you have less empathy that way.
Yeah. So on this note, have you guys ever heard of Safe Harbor?
Yes.
Is that the shipping thing where there's like a place where you
No.
can ship stuff and they can't know?
All right, I'm going to go out of order. I put in the next story about hackers completely destroying an airliner. But kind of on this, I want to put this in real quick. This is states that have enacted safe harbor laws, right? And this is very US-centric, right? So basically, the safe harbor laws are basically saying if you implemented a cybersecurity framework, like you do the CIS controls, the NIST cybersecurity frameworks, the NIST 800, 171, ISO standards, that if you have implemented those, then you cannot be sued for a breach, right? And so far, this is interesting. You have Ohio, you have Utah, you have Connecticut, Iowa, Oklahoma, Tennessee, West Virginia is looking at it, and Florida passed something similar as well. And it basically boils down to you've got to implement best practices. And this is brought up a lot whenever I'm talking to MSPs and MSSPs. But here's the thing that kind of gets me about safe harbor as it relates to this, right? You go through with an insurance company, we talk about the check boxes. You go through and you say, yes, 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 I do all of these good security practice. I'm a good security CISO, I'm a good security like implementer in my company, whatever. And you lie, you get breached, the insurance company denies your claim, right? And I keep thinking that a lot of these safe harbor laws, my fear is the way that they'll actually get implemented is like PCI, where PCI said, basically, if you get breached, then you weren't PCI compliant. And their whole point is if you were PCI compliant, then you wouldn't get breached. It becomes this kind of like circular logic. So do you think that trying to establish some type of carrot instead of stick, like a safe harbor law, do you think it's something that will actually move the needle to organizations trying to implement some type of reasonable security? Or do you think that they're just going to be like, this is another thing that we can lie about?
Another thing we can lie about. There's no way. There's no way this will implement it. We need more insurance claims that are going through. I feel like we've given the carrot too much, and security still isn't getting. Yeah, it's maybe getting better, but still, these companies nothing's happened to them when they get breached. I think that last paragraph in the actual article, where this is like in direct contrast to California's CCPA law, I honestly think that would do better to improve security overall, because we don't see any improvements or don't see all these big breaches. What happens? Nothing. The only bottom line that's going to wind up hitting these companies is their profits. So charge them $100 per.
We're really
per
talking
individual.
at that point like a GDPR type framework where
Yeah.
we aren't going to tell you how to secure your crap, but if you don't, you get hacked, and we can find that you're negligent, then we're going to fine you based on the amount of revenue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Anyone
I'm
else?
fired up about it.
Well, I have an unpopular position in that security will never be more commonly done well until we make it easier.
Can you elaborate? Because I wonder about that, right? Like the idea of making it easier. What the hell does that mean?
I
go ahead.
currently have 3 different password managers, most of which have more than 100 entries. My personal one has over 300 entries of various things for one password manager. Then there's MFA, which means that I have to have one of half a dozen different apps, and I have to have them all on my phone or on something else.
Or a lot of times they don't all stick with just Google Authenticator. You have to download their own Authenticator app.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in order to log in to do something for a single organization, I have to have a password manager. I have to have a third-party authentication app. I have to have passwords that conform to whatever the policy is. Personally, I turn around and, we recommend generally 15 characters or more. My bottom line, if the system will accept it, is 23 characters or more. So there's so many things, and there are some times where I just want to pull my hair out because it's such a freaking pain in the buttocks to try and be safe. And
that's really sad because you're a security person, right?
Exactly.
How do you take this as somebody who is a normal quote unquote non-DEF CON attending person?
This was brought up in the chat. Passkeys were meant to kind of solve some of this, right? Because passkeys don't, as a universal standard, they don't require you to actually have a password. They're a cryptographic key. It's similar to like SSH. But the thing is, though, is that, and this goes more to your point and what John just brought up, is that like people don't even understand what passkeys are or how they work, or don't have it set up, or don't have a manager that saves them and stuff. Only certain sites accept it, other things like that. So, I mean, it is just a fracture in the security. And we're talking specifically the authentication part of the security model.
And if we use seatbelts as a representative sample of when safety started going in, I forget the name of the engineer at Volvo who developed the 3-point seatbelt. Prior, at that time, we're talking like the 1960s, there were no requirements for seatbelts in automobiles at all. Volvo made the technology public, shared it with all of the other manufacturers, didn't ask for royalties. And then it wasn't until the United States required that seatbelts not only be included in automobiles manufactured, but also that they be used, that the death rate in accidents started going down because of seatbelt use. So you had, in that case, multiple factors. One, it was good engineering. It was something that was superior in terms of providing safety because of the multiple points and the better physicality of protection. And then you had to have the government saying, you must do this or there will be consequences. And we've failed with step one. We haven't even found the better mousetrap. We haven't found the better seatbelt to make security easier for people who can barely find an any key. And until we can make safety and security possible for people who can't find the any key, it's not going to happen. That's my unpopular take.
Yeah, and well, and even for like seatbelts, like, you know, standardization, you don't have to learn to use 7 different seatbelt types. Like at most you have like your car seatbelt and the seatbelt you use on the airplane. And like, even then, like on the airplane, they tell you how to use it. Like if you're like confused. So is the answer more standardization? Not necessarily. There could be that like second point to where we don't do a great job of helping each other out. I mean, in our community, yeah, we help each other out. But there are a lot, like within companies or even between others, they go, hey, I figured out how to secure my stuff. Like, you know, I've got mine, screw you. Like, I figured this out. I'm not going to teach you how to do anything.
Once again,
I'm going to teach you how to use the obscure seatbelt. But then I'm going to sit there and say, you know, when something happens to you, you go, oh, you should have figured out how to wear that seatbelt.
Like I said, we should all just get together in the desert, walk around, and throw stones at vendors.
Yeah, I'm on to that.
We got this. They'll fix things. All right. I want to move on because we haven't gotten to AI yet.
We have to cover it at least once.
All right, we've got to talk about hackers destroy Aeroflot's IT infrastructure, causing 42 flight cancellations. And there's a lot more that were canceled on that situation. But get this. This is the hacker group Silent Crow, Insider Partisans BY, claimed responsibility for a large-scale cyber attack on one of Russia's key state-owned companies, one of their airlines. And, you know, we talk about ransomware, and I think that people, you know, they complain about the scourge of ransomware. Rawr. But when the attackers got in, they destroyed which basically means they wiped the hard drive, 7,000 physical and virtual servers, as well as the cancellation of a whole bunch of round-trip flights from Moscow to all these other different cities. They exfiltrated 22 terabytes of data out of that environment. They gained access to 122 hypervisors. Like, it's just insane. Like, they basically stole everything and then burned the entire company to the ground.
And this wasn't the Ukraine?
Actually, I think Ukraine was like, that wasn't us. I think it's down at the bottom.
Honestly,
somebody
like,
talked about this. They said
I'm
in
surprised
June,
they released all that data. Like those statistics, like I've never heard someone release like such great statistics on a breach. Usually,
it's really well done. But I think it's kind of like anytime someone gets breached with ransomware, it's like we got to use this company as a cautionary tale. Like it could be worse. You could be never getting your servers back. But oh my gosh, like that's absolutely scorched earth at that point.
Yeah.
At least they didn't hit the flight controls, right? Like the towers. Like
Yeah, at least they didn't bring down.
I mean, maybe Russia's getting a little taste of what ransomware's like, right? Like, you know.
Well, and Ralph, we've talked
I'm not
about
saying
this.
I'm not saying this is a deserved statement. I'm just
No,
saying
no. It's
that,
not like they're not wearing their seatbelts or anything.
Yeah, I mean, just that, you know, if you do a lot of this in your country and then someone else does it back to you, I mean, like, you know, fight fire with fire, I guess.
But we've also
Are you
we've
saying
had some
karma's
conversations from some
Maybe.
of our engagements about Russian infrastructure and some of the things we've done. And we're like, this country should not be like they're in a glass house throwing like tons of stones. Like they need to stop. Like they have no idea how wide open they actually are. So go ahead. I heard somebody else in there too. All right. Well, then I'm going to ask a question. Do you think this is antibodies? Like, do you think the United States and Western countries, let's particularly the United States, is in a better situation than countries like China and Russia because we're constantly being hacked and we have better antibodies?
Yeah.
Or is it that just saying we keep licking the doorknob and then wondering why we keep getting sick? Right.
I think it's also technology though, right? Like think about all those other companies usually use more open source software, right? Which is great if you can configure it and have the experts. But we have a lot of the more turnkey stuff over here that some of it's not even allowed. Most of it's not even allowed to be sold to those other two countries. So I would say our security at a base point is most likely more secure just because we do have the option of buying this software.
Yeah.
Like, I really like that idea.
But I also think if you look at like quote unquote next generation EDR, the adoption is way heavy on the West side, right? And if you look at that level of adoption and penetration into like China and Russia, China less so than Russia. China has their own products and some of them are actually pretty good, but like the adoption of that advanced endpoint security product is just nowhere near as high as it is in the United States.
They're definitely cut off from that ecosystem, right? Of top of line technology, at least as far as the world goes. So
What about
Okay, great.
Perpesky?
No, I can't pronounce it. Screw
Kaspersky.
every single one of you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Yes, you're welcome. That's top of the line, right?
I want to say that it would be nice to believe that we have better security, but the problem is just because you buy a fancy piece of software doesn't mean you know how to use it.
I was
How
going
to
to say,
alert on it.
I was going to say so many companies, it seems, buy something security-wise, be it EDR or other products, and leave it in default mode. Getting them to change the default password on it is tough at times.
I mean,
Yes.
I mean,
Default mode is better than open source software, though. That's
I
the
like the
thing.
capitalistic.
No way,
Since
open
there are
source
other
is
options,
America.
consumers and
Shut
public
up.
opinion matters. Yeah, trust me, China and Russia are full tilt in capitalism right now. Like they're right there. They learned that lesson real quick. So no, but I just whenever we're poking around, without getting into too many details, like. Yeah, we're not seeing like in our Russian customers that level of security at all. It's like, have you done anything to secure your environment? So
I would really like to see some Chinese-based cyber tools. Now that I think about it, like how different is it? Like I want to see a China-made EDR, or
I mean, they're just looking
China
at
Splunk,
American
which is probably just
EDR.
Splunk,
like
with a different
Quaihu
name.
360.
Yeah,
absolutely.
something.
Yeah.
They're just looking at American products and copying them. I mean,
Pretty much.
literally, I mean, what else would they
Not
do? I mean,
surprised.
why
Well,
do the
they've
research? when you
infiltrated
just
our
copy it?
network, so they
Well-
don't have to copy it. They just have to steal it and
Copy
rebrand
the
it.
source
No,
code.
and like Quaihu, if you look at like Quaihu, I think I'm definitely mispronouncing it. But Quaihu 360, if you go back years ago, they were doing sandboxing and cloud analysis of malware specimens before Cylance. And that technology was actually stolen from US AV companies. They were just able to implement it faster because from a market adoption perspective, it wasn't being adopted in the United States because people were, it's a new technology, false positives, in air quotes, bringing production down. And China stole all of that stuff from an architectural design perspective, and they were able to bring it up and start implementing it. So there was a period of time, Wade, where they actually did have better EDRs, especially on government systems, a long time ago than we had in the United States. I think that has probably changed now. with the adoption of advanced EDR in the United States. But once again, going back to Russia, not even on the map. Like, not even on the map. I don't know. I would say I honestly can't remember a situation where I saw anything other than like Panda on a Russian system. I just don't know. So
there's an interesting Reddit post today about some like Western guy who moved to China who's been in cybersecurity for like 5 years, and is like, how hard is it gonna be for me to get a cybersecurity job in China? And I was like, ooh. And everyone's like, oh, you'll get one if you speak Mandarin. He's like, no, I don't speak Mandarin. I'm like, oh, that guy's not getting a job. Like,
I don't know. If you're open to options, if you're morally flexible, you can definitely get hired, right? So all right. So that one's kind of a crazy one, bringing down that airport. Crap. Let me pull up the next one. Have you guys seen the one on link wrapping services being bypassed to drop malware on systems? So for those of you that don't know, link wrapping is like whenever you go to a website from Outlook, it's basically like safe linking it.
Yeah, I actually saw this, John, in the wild over a year ago.
Oh, wow. Yeah. You tell.
Yeah. So, I mean, essentially, it's just like, all right, here it is, right? All the safe URL links that you click and you see inside of them, if you send that URL already safe link to someone else, right, it will bypass the filters because the filters will think it is a safe link that got forwarded.
Wait a minute. We were using this.
That sounds like domain fronting in a way. Right?
Yeah. And so it would think that it's safe because it's a safe link from one of these. But the thing is, the link itself can be malicious. So the way you weaponize this, though, is that you actually have a tenant. Like, let's say you have a proof point tenant, right? And it gets marked and flagged as bad, but then you allow it. And then that unique URL at proof point now is valid because you allowed it inside your tenant, and then you start sending it out in your phishing emails, and it's a good link.
I like Sarsaparilla. They're like, that sounds horribly dumb. Well, once again, we're all meeting in Vegas with rocks. So I'm just going to drive this thing home. Like,
so I saw this in the wild, John, and I reported it to Proofpoint. You know what they said? They were just like, oh, that looks like a normal link. I was right. No, I'm not doing it.
I think we need a T-shirt with "That sounds horribly dumb" on it, because I've had that thought so many times over the last 15 years. Why would you do it that way?
Kind of funny though.
I don't know. So in this, I'm guys, hold off. We're not going to talk AI yet, but it's like every single year in computer security, right? You know, I go back to like, I want to say 2006, 2007. And I remember articles where they were talking about Symantec endpoint protection and how it was going to shut down all the hackers and things like that. And Microsoft Get Secure, Stay Secure initiative. And it seems like there's all these things, whether it's next-gen firewalls, next-gen EDR, whether it's AI, and the breaches don't slow down, right? Like, it's almost like there's definitely this escalation between defensive technologies and offensive technologies. And everyone's like, well, AI's defensive technology is going to take off. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like, you know, the offensive opportunities are more robust in this space. And I don't think that they're going to go away. I just think they're going to evolve.
Yeah, pen testing is not dead. That is
Oh,
for
my
sure.
God. Oh, yeah. It's
I mean,
not
I've heard that a lot.
Anybody that's like, we're fully automating a pen test, just once again, is a snake oil salesman.
Yes.
And feel free to grab some rocks and throw it at them. Violence is never okay unless they say that they completely automate pen testing and slug bug. Those are the two things where it's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
Man,
and
you don't see bugs that
ebooks
much.
are gonna make real books go away. You know
Totally.
what?
Totally. I mean, Barnes and Noble's is closing all over the place.
My 17-year-old just took an actual paperback book on vacation, so no, I don't think so. She has a Kindle too.
Yeah.
No, but that was what everybody was
Still have
saying when
pennies.
ebooks were first starting to come out. There won't be any real books anymore soon. Well, you know what? So yeah, AI, great. You've got a better widget, but that doesn't mean that you can get rid of.
Not yet. We're not doing it yet.
Oh,
We're not doing it.
I'm
yet.
like,
We're not
I'm
doing it yet. We've got another story. It's delayed.
Glad we don't
gratification is
drink
what we're
every
going
time we
through.
say AI.
Opening
Truthfully-
up, yeah. I
No,
mean,
truthfully,
that
it's
should
gonna
be the
applied
biggest
to
game
any
at DEF CON.
technology.
Yeah.
I don't care
So-
if it's SIEM or whatever. if it just because it's a better mousetrap doing whatever, using whatever fancy dancy, you still need to
I
have.
like how she's talking about AI without using.
I know. Just like not using
not
the word.
AI. How many times have we seen next generation?
No, I agree.
2022.
Yeah.
It's true. How many times?
I'm gonna be at Black Hat this year, and I'm gonna go on the floor, and it's probably gonna just be just that, like that,
It's
the
misery.
whole thing. Just
It's
that whole thing,
miserable.
just over and over again.
We're going to open up the conversation.
All right, I'll stop.
Vendor floors are miserable at these.
Oh my God, I hated Black Hat.
The only one that's any good is DEF CON, because you can go to the Black Hills Information Security booth and get a signed copy of the Future comic book.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so go check that out there. Oh, there goes Wade. He's got 40 minutes to get to Vegas. Oh, he's got it right there. Look at that. I'll see you at that, Wade. But I also have right here.
How much?
I have a graded one.
Oh, look at you!
Oh my goodness!
Look at you. Wait. Wow. Let me. Can we zoom in? Give me to that big box right below me with the stack of. Let's just say I was your Comic-Con delivery person for the future.
I know, I appreciate that, dude. I do. And they were told, you've got to sell it. And they're like, but we want to give it away. And Comic-Con was like, no, you got to sell it. And they asked me, and I'm like, just hand it out to people. These things.
I gave a couple out.
Cents. They cost me like 86 cents. They're so much cheaper.
Don't tell them that, John. It's $2.86.
Exactly.
Oh, come on.
All right. I want to talk about this. Oh, go ahead. What's that? Oh, geez.
How many years have we been sucking at capitalism? Come on.
Far too long. Yeah, far too long. All right, so Mozilla flags phishing wave aimed at hijacking trusted Firefox add-ins, right? Like, this is just like getting into add-ons or plugins and all of these different things. It's just, I keep, I don't even think it's really much of a conversation anymore, but it's like the browser is the new endpoint, right? And I just got done giving a presentation about CIS control number 9, and I want to give mad crazy props to CIS, where they were basically talking about browser extensions. And in Control 9, I think it's Implementation Group 2 and 3, companies and organizations that are implementing the controls should have a way to inventory browser extensions. And that is just like, we talk about that. But okay, seriously, how many organizations have you all came across that's not BHIS that are regularly auditing the browser plugins that are deployed in their employees' systems?
Do you count former employers, or we were doing it a long time ago, or?
Yeah, go ahead. I think that's a good one. But
yeah, I mean, basically, I mean, it was
a
a long time ago, but we were doing that kind of stuff at my former employer. And that was,
which was DoD classified level stuff.
Which was 14 years ago, but
yeah.
Hey.
I mean, couldn't you just disable all the plugins in the browser too?
That's what. Okay.
Okay.
Like instead of auditing everyone and like making.
You totally could. Bronwyn, how many password managers did you say that you had at the beginning of the show? That
currently,
just for clarity, you need to function to do your job, right?
I'm just going to say you can export all those to one password manager.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
I would.
No, because I work.
The company I work for doesn't use that particular password manager.
You could use one password manager. It's my favorite.
Okay, Ralph gets it at least.
But how many people are going to complain? They're going to be like, well, I use Grammarly to fix my grammar when I type sensitive things in my
No, I've totally upgraded. It's AI all the way, buddy.
Last org I was at audited browser extensions. I really, really like the MITRE ATT&CK browser extension. If you go look it up, it's called the Attack Power Suite. It's a quick little database that you can query attack IDs and stuff like that. I had to submit it for review to my organization to see if they would let me do it. They actually went and looked at it, looked at the code, and realized they used some library that is actively used in AI, and then required me to reach out to them to ask them, what does that library do? How does it work? And give us a full write-up. And I'm like, this is an open source app. I'm not going to do that. I just flipped the table and walked away. I was like,
I've got
there's
to be
no way
honest,
I'm
though,
this.
that's pretty hot.
Dude,
that's that cool that they went.
There's a reason I don't work there anymore. There's too much red tape.
Yeah, but that is what we're advocating, right?
Bronwyn's gone.
Yeah.
We just broke Bronwyn. She's on the internet now, and she's looking up this plugin.
No,
She's done.
I was just saying on Discord. How did I not know about the?
Oh, there you are.
Plugin?
Yeah, I could see you typing, and I could see your screen flickering.
Oh, you did it? Maybe because you haven't taken my CTI 101 course. That's at the Blue Team Summit.
Man, he's getting all of the bingo.
I need to leave. Jeez, wait.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's so rare to see that, and it's so necessary. And I think we need to revisit Cursed Chrome, our malicious browser plugin. I know we haven't used it much. We've been doing some other things, but it was pretty cool when we got that.
Yeah, closest I've been is at an employer that did lock those down and had like that whole allow list of browser extensions, but you could install a completely different browser and whatever extensions you wanted, which then misses the point. It's like if you installed Chrome, they had a policy. You had only a certain allow list of browser extensions, but if you just said, okay, nuts to this, I got to do what I got to do and install Firefox and any browser extension you wanted, yeah, that was allowed apparently.
All right, deep cleansing breaths.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
All right. I'm gonna let someone take this one. Ralph, do you wanna, or Bronwyn?
Yeah, sure, I can take it.
Bronwyn can too. I know
let
we got a
somebody
number.
else take point.
All right, so tell us about Perplexity. Somebody like. Yeah.
So has anyone used Perplexity? I've used it before. I just wonder if anyone else.
We use Perplexity a lot in this household.
Okay.
I don't know.
In my house, we use Perplexity, and we obey the laws of physics.
So it's one of the bigger AI startups that has gained a lot of traction because they use a bunch of different models, not just the one, but they're kind of like an aggregator. But anyways, this article,
engine, not an LLM.
What's up?
It's an answer engine, not an
LLM.
Yes,
it's pretty much parsing that data to an LLM and then responding based on which LLM you want to use and so on and so forth, right? But what they were finding is shocker that Perplexity is crawling the internet to make these searches and find that data, and they do not care if you tell them no. And this is actually kind of across the board with all of the AI large language models, especially the frontier models that are doing searching, and how much traffic they're actually increasing on the internet because of that, right? And so this article from Cloudflare is they're trying to evade detection so they can keep getting back answers from these sites, right? Mm-hmm. So it's an arms race now to detect the AI scanning the site to read the information. Because it doesn't save it, it has to keep going back every time someone asks something about that same thing. So.
Can I introduce you to our Lord and Savior Shodan? There are so many different services that are crawling all over the place. But Derek, you had kind of a salty take on this before we started recording. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, my response is you put it out on the internet. Like, how do you think these things actually get real-time data, right? They have to go out and ask. Yep. And so my guess is the people who wrote this article probably use Perplexity. And they're trying to call out a company that, okay, maybe they're not, like doing the right net citizen thing. But I mean, come on, the internet's an evil and dangerous place. If you have data you don't want access, then put it behind an authentication portal. I mean, I'm sorry, I have little sympathy because, they didn't abide by the robot.txt file. Come on, really?
So this isn't about sensitive information.
Right. This is about shit you're putting on the internet.
Yeah, no. Well, so the problem is bandwidth, I guess. So now
please.
They are just getting tore apart. I guess it's like, so some of the smaller websites, I've read some other articles, some of the smaller websites that don't have, some Google budget going on here, they're getting hit like 100 times more traffic because of these AI crawlers. It's not about the data.
How much would it cost to put it behind Cloudflare? Like
that's what this Cloudflare article's about.
Good. I guess what I'm saying is like if you're gonna take that stance that everybody who has some kind of like AI tool isn't allowed to like scrape data off your website, you're just hampering the AI tool and like someone else is going to come along and figure out how to do
Yeah,
it.
so I
Like,
totally agree with you, right? There's two sides. It's the good citizen of the internet or the good AI, and the other side is that they're going to do whatever they need to do to have a
to make
product
money.
gets the answers that that they want. So if you block them in some way, shape, or form, they're going to work their way around that block to get that information, right?
Right.
What they should do though is implement some better kind of caching technology right in the middle, so that you're not necessarily destroying the website's bandwidth to ask the same things over and over again. That would be my
So basically, they're saying like put a Kafka queue in place and go check and see if I have an article from yesterday or something like that.
Yeah,
like, I mean,
don't go to the same site over and over again looking for that data, because the way the AI, they only have so much context window. So eventually, after that context window, they have to ask the site again for that same information.
Yeah, I don't know. This really reminds me of when the post office was complaining that Netflix had too many DVDs in the mail.
Ooh,
like,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Well,
Come
yeah,
on.
and yeah, this is not a new issue. I remember when search engines first became a thing.
Yeah, and that all
I
ended
mean,
up fine.
yeah.
We're fine. It's all we're good.
We're fine. I love these ads.
Obviously, you're using a different translation of fine than I
One
am.
that doesn't involve sarcasm. So yeah, I don't know. I just don't like. Look, there's people crawling the internet all the time, and I'm going to be honest, if you cannot deal with an organization like this, then how are you going to deal with like actual malicious crawlers? And they are out there. I mean, it's stuff that isn't my bailiwick, right? Where people are like, they're crawling shoe websites to try to get the hottest shoe before it hits the market. But there's crawlers like that all the time.
So I worked. My first IT job was at a data center, and it was the data center that hosted Shodan.
Oh, nice.
Oh wow,
bro, it was pretty cool just because like I got made aware of it right off the bat in security. But boy, did we get phone calls and emails all the time telling us to stop scanning them every day. Like something came in.
Yeah, I feel like that if you're out on the internet, like this is just like the cost of like the internet. I remember years ago, and I don't think it's the same anymore, but years ago, Team Comrie had you could look up hashes against their DNS servers for malware. And then Bro, which is now Zeek at the time, had a script that by default was on. And so they were getting hammered by DNS queries. And well, I mean, yeah, that's what happens when you offer something for free. It's nice on the internet.
Speaking of crap that doesn't exist anymore, do you remember whenever you used to be able to do a search in Google for file hashes? I don't know. So
there used to be a bunch of like, there was whole books like Google Dorks, right? That's what
you used to be able, if you could find like, if you would pull down an open source like PHP backdoor and you would do a hash of that backdoor, you could go to Google and do a search on that hash and find everywhere that PHP backdoor was used.
Shodan before Shodan.
It was so cool. It was like whenever I was teaching back in the day, like whenever you were doing that type of search and doing that type of lookup, and it's like, well, here's 4,000 systems that are completely wide open. People are just like, those were good times. But I do want to talk a little bit. We got 10 minutes, and I really wanted to get to this story. After Backlash, ChatGPT removes option to have private chats indexed by Google. This is from PC Mag. I'm trying to do better, y'all, at like doing a call out for the people in the news industry that are creating these articles. This kind of ties into, I remember a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about, people were really, still are, but they were really putting in a lot of sensitive information inside of ChatGPT and other LLMs that are online and chatbots. And, I can't remember, I think it was OpenAI. They're like, hey, just so you know, putting in super sensitive personal information, that's not, we're not keeping that private to you. And this kind of has that same vibe. It's like, everything we get from you, we're going to use against you to sell you more ads? I don't know. So what do you guys think of this?
My thoughts on this is just like the hot take that it's like these end users should not handle firearms, because it's just going to be like, if I pull the trigger, a bullet comes out. And then you explain that to them, and then they go, well, you didn't tell me that if I pull the trigger,
and they're surprised when that
and now I
thing
have a hole
happens.
in the floor. Like, there's literally a checkbox that they have to check that says, make this chat.
I mean, have you read the like?
engine.
EULAs for Windows? I mean, just
agreed.
Come on,
Agreed.
It's not
still,
like it's buried in a
hear you.
EULA. It's like it is a specific checkbox that you have to go. It's like,
You're an
okay,
idiot.
one, I
Click
want
here.
to share this, and two, yes, I want to click that
Well-
checkbox for
Well,
put this on, make this findable by search engines,
Yeah,
and then
the
you
idiot
go in your
checkbox
gas
has a
is findable by
98%
search engines.
like click rate.
Yeah,
There's-
if it's
but there's-
slowing me
there's a-
down, I'm going to check it.
but there's a quote everyone says, if something's free, you're the product, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
So, did you hear about that too? Speaking, this is right on topic, right? So, Amazon's Alexa is supposedly going to be free. The new Alexa Plus, okay, like the AI version of Alexa. And what they're going to do, supposedly, is use your data to inject ads in the answers, right? So instead of like literally getting ads in your answers from
This is
Alexa.
literally a Black Mirror episode. Like,
All right.
shit, that newest season.
All right.
Like,
So I've got a stat on this AI thing. I was listening to an economics podcast, and they were talking about stock market and all this stuff. If you take I think it's the top 5 companies in the stock market that are investing heavily in AI, that would be like, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, of course, Meta, all of them. And if you take the amount of money that they have invested in 1 quarter in AI, it's more money than the entirety of all U.S. commerce combined. Like every deodorant that you buy for DEF CON, all the chaffing stick, your airplane tickets, your movie tickets, everything. They have invested more of that. And one of the things that, I was reading in this article and it kind of spun off into some other things, it was basically asking, all of them are trying to do the exact same thing. Give you more efficient ads. Like, they're not using AI. A lot of them aren't. I mean, there are some exceptions, of course. They aren't using AI to make the world a better place. What is it? The song from 9 Inch Nails. They're not looking for the cure. They're not looking for the weak among the pure, right? They're looking, how can we give you more ads? That's where we're going with all of this. And
that's where we've been. Like, that's the way, the age of surveillance capitalism. Like, this has been this way for
I agree.
long time.
But you got to admit, the amount of investment is staggering.
Oh
right?
yeah, I agree. There's probably some aspect of the government and thinking that the first one to AGI is going to be the global dominant I
think that's okay.
There's probably a sliver of that in there, but they're going to fund that
question for
by AI.
So our AI people here, do you think that's true? Do you think that the first one to get to AGI is the one that wins? Congratulations. Or is it an issue that they're putting in so much money into this and then it's going to become effectively commoditized in the next 5 to 10 years?
Honestly, I think once they hit AGI, they won't even know. Like, we're all just going to be like, oh, it's pretty good this time. Yeah, it's really good. And then we're just going to keep on going, right? It's not like you're going to be like, we did it. We got the flag. We landed
I think as
moon.
soon as AI started protecting itself, we were there.
Yeah.
Well,
there was a really good YouTube video about a bunch of AI experts got together and pretty much predicted that we're all going to die. But it was talking.
We're going to die eventually.
Yeah, it was talking about once
2027.
Yeah. Yes. Once.
So there's
once we hit AGI.
Wait. What's this? Okay. Go ahead, Wade.
Pretty much once we hit AGI, that it's going to be regulated, and we're going to notice right off the bat that it's actually not answering in the way we want it to. It's answering in the way that it wants to. And it's going to slowly start being used to pump out more AIs, and it's going to build those AIs to then be better, but then also trick us.
This is the one where China goes offline, and it's a
the answer is there's this one point where when we notice it starts making changes that we don't want it, do we everyone hold back? Wait a second, this AI is now trying to fool us, or do we just keep going? So the theory is if we hold back, then China goes. And maybe they hold back. But once an AGI occurs and it gets set online, it's going to start talking to the other AGIs and realizing stuff. Yep. And hopefully that's when it goes off, right? And the scary part is they predicted this in the next 5 years. And then they even predicted how the AGI would kill us, which is
I love the name. I love the names that they gave it. Like, it wasn't OpenAI, wasn't the name. What were the names of some of the AI companies that they were coming up with? But
wait, are y'all talking about the papers that are online? It was like not OpenAI. It's like AI 2027 or something like
Yes.
that.
Yeah, that's the exact one. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I do agree with Ralph that, I think that I think right now, if you showed someone from, like 1980, like I'll paraphrase Jason Haddock's recently saying this, that like, if you could take like a laptop back with some local models and go back to 1987 and show people, they would think you had AGI, right? Like, I think that there's a lot of like, intelligence to what we have now, but like, I'm still like not convinced that there's some autonomous AGI overlord that's going to show up. I think the country that has the best AI has the edge, and this AGI talk is really just kind of an edge in being able to use AI. Like, so AI can be used for a lot of things. It's not just ChatGPT, right?
No, I agree 110%.
And so an edge in those things, right? I mean,
but I think that's the question that we need to be asking: is the edge in what? Like, what are we trying to get? It's like just so anybody who's in the government knows, we have nukes. Like, we can destroy ourselves with nuclear weapons. We don't have to find more, better, and creative ways to kill us.
This is a longer death, though.
Well, we do have to keep developing this stuff if we're overcompensating for something, but that's a whole other.
But so my thought, you say in what, right? Okay, well, and so like battlefield logistics and being able to like give parameters and get like better answers than we would be able to with like a team of humans, like, those kinds of things. I'm not a military person, so like I'm just kind of guessing at what would be useful, but I find myself more and more using frontier models to solve problems that I wouldn't have in the past. And so those are the kinds of things, like, what are you solving? And so having a team of people solving problems more efficiently and better, I think, is more of the game than like some AI overlord, like, Skynet or something. It's not how AI works right now, and I don't know how we get it to be that thing. Like,
here's my thought, right? Here's my thought. AI kills us by solving aging. Like, it literally solves aging. And it's like, you know what? The secret to living forever is Brussels sprouts. No butter, no salt, Brussels sprouts. Just boil those and eat them. And you're now functionally immortal. Good luck, humanity.
Hey, look, the easy way to kill us off is just basically keep us entertained and make the birth rate go down to nothing, right?
I have it.
What's happening now.
We've used ourselves to death, right?
It finishes A Song of Ice and Fire for us.
Yeah,
that's all I needed to do.
Hey.
Oh my God.
I would pay many to see that.
And it does it well, and then that's it. We're over. Hey guys, this is fun. This is why I put AI at the end of the show.
Yeah, because you can just go on forever.
We totally can. And I want you all to know, at the end of the day, we can unplug it. you can unplug. Just go outside. Go see like birds.
Can we?
Touch grass.
Did you not hear about that situation with the AI where it was like, we're going to unplug you, and the AI was like, the heck you are.
Okay.
I'm going to nuke everyone.
Okay, well, I don't want it to nuke. Yeah. I don't know. I think AI wins, Ashley, by giving us what we want.
So, and I want to say that
it's going to be the AI is going to be called Turkish Delight, and people are like, well, I want more of that.
If you want
there goes Narnia.
If you want more of these AI like end of humanity conversations and you're at Wild West Hacking Fest, we're going to be running an AI lab where you can come play with some of these models that, you can make it do all kinds of fun stuff.
Derek,
there'll also be challenges too.
I love how you worked in a reference to Wild West Hacking Fest. So we're kind of at the end of the show. However, I do want to call out something. We have a traitor on our midst. He left. Okay. He left BHIS. And he's back now. And I would be incredibly happy to hear what Ralph is working on as a little bit of an advertisement for what he's doing. Ralph, do you want to tell us what you started, since you went kind of stealth a little bit, and what you're working on?
Yeah. Thanks, John.
He's like, wait a minute, am I the traitor? Yes, you are. It's you.
I actually was going to move out of frame, but then I knew you were talking about me. That's really sweet of you. I left and I started. We are making remote testing devices, which is kind of fun. We're making actually a couple different tools for pen testing and security consulting. And BTIM Labs is the company I started. And it's rolling. And we're kind of solving some niche problems in the industry that we always wanted to solve. And I think we're kind of the first people to actually offer remote testing devices for pen testing and for MSPs and other stuff like that. So.
Rock on. And we'll be learning more about it as you continue to come on the show, right?
Yeah. We have these little devices. They're this little guy right here. These are the little devices we ship out. They're little arrows. They have cellular and all kinds of other fun stuff in it. But yeah. So.
All right. Well, thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Makes me
All right.
wish we'd gotten to the article about the Raspberry Pi.
I know, and I had Ralph and Mai and Bo's talk before the pandemic queued up for that show. Thank you, Ralph. It's good to see you. By the way.
With that, everybody, we're over. Thank you so much for attending. We appreciate it and enjoy these last couple of years, everybody.
Yeah.